printed out trace from Google Draw. So what I'm going to do is, actually I went over to the window and I held it up to the light so I could see through it, and I kind of traced over. So that's the area where the drawing is. I just drew a zone around there so I could see where that is. And so all I have to do is go in here and add some graphite in wherever that drawing is. If I cross hatch it like this, going to change direction, it's going to fill in a little more evenly. Change direction again, aim for the light areas. Get a nice layer of graphite behind the drawing. Okay. The other thing I did was I took it over to the window and I took my money layout and I put the drawing up against it. I held it up to the window so I could see both, and I kind of lined it up where I wanted it, and then I put little registration marks in the corners when it was lined up so that now I can go back and line those little lines up again. So I'm lined up in the same spot. So I get my little registration marks. I lined it up. I just kind of, when I had it lined up on the window, I just shot some lines over these edges so I could realign them whenever I wanted. Now, with that drawing in place, I can come back and redo my trace. And this might be good to do with either a really hard pencil or even a pen, if I can find a pen. Okay. So, part of the idea of doing this is that your basic lines that are in here that are traced in Google Draw, which kind of smooths your lines out, I can come back in now and I can create kind of a, I'm going to put a more raggedy, fuzzy edge line in for his ear here. So I have a very smooth line there, but when I do the trace, I'm going to put in a different quality line. And that should be coming through onto my drawing, which it is. So now you can go back, again, as you do this, I'm going to be able to add detailing because I know that this inside of his ear here is very fuzzy. And that's what's going to transfer onto my drawing here. So this is kind of how we do this. Get these guys in here, drawing all the lines I want in the style that I want, adding in detail. This is just going to be an area. Light. Again, something like those eyes, I did overlapping lines in here, but I can just trace over the areas I want and leave out the edges that I don't want. All right, so I'm not going to do all of this, but once you guys do all of this, whiskers in here. Anyway, it is transferring through onto my drawing here. And now I can come back and redo this. Again, I can also make corrections once I get this. I can come in and really get the type of line that I want here. I can add and change detail even from this because they're just guidelines at this point. And harden up lines, change lines, stop lines where I want them to stop, and start to create my image here. That's how we do the transfer. Some lines will probably have to be erased. This has actually been printed out, but so I can't erase these lines, but on your pencil drawing, you'll be able to erase some of these lines and make some alterations. Get rid of the lines that you don't need.